Welcome to the Painting Coach, and today I'm going to show you how to paint Kravek Morne of the Iron Warriors. A huge thank you to Games Workshop for sending me this model out early. Let's get painting. So the first thing I've done is prime the model using Chaos Black Spray. I haven't bothered with any sub-assemblies, I've just gone straight in. The first thing I'm going to do is base all of the silver, and the colour I'm using for this is, of course, Iron Warriors. It would be rude to use anything else. Now, in terms of this, I'm painting absolutely everything that's going to be silver. Now, you might ask yourself, why have you not just sprayed it with something like lead belcher, for example? And the reason for that is because I find metallic sprays can be quite hydrophobic when you go to add other colours on them, so you spend so much more time just trying to get nice finishes on them. So whilst it's quicker in terms of getting a base coat, actually, in terms of getting a finished model, this is much better. So I've thinned the Iron Warriors down with a little bit of water, so I will need to go into some areas and add a second coat, but generally I'm working quite fast here, and I'm using a nice big old brush as well. Once I've finished with the Iron Warriors, I'm then going to take some Balthazar Gold, and I'm going to use this to paint everything that's either going to be kind of a gold colour or kind of a brassy colour afterwards. There's a little bit of a differentiation between them if you look at the box art, and I'm going to try and bring that out in the model as well. Be careful when you apply this over areas where you've already got the silver down, because you don't want to have to go back in and repair anything, but generally you can be fairly messy with this. Again, I thinned it with a little bit of water so it flies just a little bit nicer off the brush. Once that's finished, I'm then going to take some Null oil and wash absolutely everything. Now, I'm not slopping this on. I'm not putting it on as a big gloop on the brush. I'm painting in a downwards motion so that most of it ends up towards the bottom of the model. But I don't want it to pull too heavily. I just want it to tint everything. So just keep an eye on it when it dries. Make sure that if it does start to pool heavily, wick it away before it dries, because otherwise you can have some really nasty tide marks. You can have some really blotchy, ugly, thick areas as well, which you don't want. Make sure you get it into all the recesses. But again, we're painting this like a very thin layer to tint the metallic underneath, not to absolutely cover it and drown it. Once that was completely dry, I then took some Agrax Earthshade, which is a brown wash, and I used this across all of the silver parts. I didn't worry too much about the brass or gold parts. I just painted this across all the silver, exactly the same way as I did in the previous step. So again, I'm putting more of a filter across it rather than a heavy deep wash. So if it does start to gather and it does start to pool, make sure you wick it away, because otherwise it's going to look really, really ugly. Once everything was completely dry, and it's really important that it's completely dry, it was time to go back in and start to build up some of that silver color to the brighter areas. So what I did was took some Iron Warriors again. I thinned this down with a little bit of water, and I just stippled my brush across all the areas where I wanted to build the highlight up. Now, this can go on quite thick or it can go on quite thin. It really depends how much you've got on your brush. I opted on the side of having very little paint on my brush, because as I kind of stippled and tapped across all the areas, I just have to go over them a few times to really build that up. And it just helps in terms of putting in a little bit of a transition as well. So as you carry on around the model, again, think about the bits that will catch the most light, think about the most prominent areas, and just make sure that you're tapping across those. For some other areas, you can drag your brush as well to get a bit more of a crisper highlight, and we're going to do a lot more of that as we build this silver up. We'll then move on to Lead Belcher, which if you look at it in comparison to Iron Warriors, is quite a bit brighter. So again, we'll thin this with a little bit of water. We're going to do exactly the same thing again. So we're going to drag our brush across those sharp edges of the model to get nice crisp highlights, but we're also going to stipple it across some of those areas and edges, such as the knee pad, the breastplate, for example, across the top, those shoulder pads, and the feet, because it does give you a nice highlight that really does catch the light. Again, I'm opting not to have too much paint on my brush. This gives me a lot more control. If your brush is overloaded, as soon as you go to tap it, you're going to deposit a lot of paint and you lose the effect. So for me, it's really important at this stage that we haven't got too much paint on our brush and we're just focusing on the areas that catch the most light. The last step on the silver metallics for now is with chrome from Vallejo Model A. If you haven't got this, you can use something like Roomfang steel from Citadel. That's absolutely fine as well. And generally, what I'm looking to do this is drag it across the sharp edges of the model. In some areas, it's worth tapping and stippling, but generally, this is going to be a traditional edge highlight. So again, make sure you haven't got too much on your brush. Make sure you got a really fine point, and just drag it across those edges of the model to get the nice crisp highlight. If you put it on too thickly, like I have in some places, you can just go back to Lead Belcher underneath and use this just to darken it down ever so slightly. Now, I notice looking at the box art, some parts of the armor trim are more of a gold color and some parts are more of a brass color. So for the goldish parts, I went for Dragon's Gold. Now, if you haven't got this, Retribute Drama for Citadel is perfectly fine. And generally, what I'm looking to do here is edge highlight all of the areas where I want to have the gold trim. So generally, it's the shoulder pads, it's the bolter on the wrist, it's the trim along the bottom of the greaves and things like that. It's not a huge amount, but I'm leaving the more brassy areas on some of the weapons across the top. To finish off that highlight, I took some white gold from Pro Acryl. If you haven't got white gold, you can mix just a tiny, tiny bit of chrome in with your Retribute Drama just to give it a bit of a highlight. And all I'm doing here is dragging my brush across the sharp edges to get a nice crisp highlight. Whilst I've got the white gold out as well, I'm also going to highlight it across all the brass decoration coming from the waist and also those shoulder pads. Those little bars, I'm going to highlight those as well. For the rest of them and for the rest of the brass, I'm going to give these a highlight with Hashed Copper. Now, make sure you give this a really good shake so it's nice and well mixed, and put a little bit of water in so it flows nicely. And generally, in most areas, I'm going to drag my brush across the edges to get a nice crisp highlight. For all of the decoration, I'm just going to paint the majority of these because I want them to stand out a little bit and catch the light whilst they're on the tabletop. So again, take your time here. If you do make any mistakes, you can always go back in with some Balthazar Gold just to tidy them up a touch. Next up, we'll base all the plates that are going to be yellow. And for this, I'm going to take some Morn Fang Brown. So I'm just going to very carefully paint this across those areas. If you're not sure which plate to do, check the box art. Now, ultimately, these are going to be Avalanche Sunset. You could start off with Avalanche Sunset here, but you might take 4, 5, 6 layers to get a really nice smooth coat. By doing it this way, you'll only need about 3 or 4 layers. So it just speeds it up ever so slightly. Once that's finished, I'm going to take a 50-50 mix of Mournfan Brown and Avalanche Sunset. And again, I'm going to paint this over the same areas, make sure I've got a nice smooth coat. And key part here is make sure you haven't got too much paint on your brush, because sometimes when you have got too much paint, it's easy to put big blotches down. Then you try and spread that out and it looks really ugly. And it's really important to get a nice smooth coat with the yellow. And then finally, we'll go in with some Avalanche Sunset. Now, the Avalanche Sunset was the only part where I needed to put 2 coats on to get a nice even coverage across here. Again, make sure you haven't got too much paint on your brush, because otherwise it will leave some ugly marks, which you don't want. Take your time and make sure that you've got a nice finish, a nice tidy finish. You can always go back in and tidy up some of the trim if you need to, but the less time you have to spend doing that, the quicker it's going to be to paint the model. Once that's completely dry, I then took some Cassandora yellow and painted this over all the yellow areas. Now, the Avalanche Sunset is quite matte, it's quite bland, it's quite desaturated. Popping the Cassandora yellow on really just helps pump it up a little bit and give it a little bit more vibrancy. So again, very similar to all the other washes we did. We're not pooling this on, we're not slopping it on. We're painting it on like a very thin layer, like a nice filter, making sure it goes into all the recesses. Then, before we start the hazard stripes, we will add some highlights to the yellow, and the colour I use for this is Flashgates yellow. Now, this is a very bright yellow, and I've deliberately chosen that because it's going to stand out quite nicely across all of the yellow on the model. And generally, what we're looking to do is just want to paint it kind of just outside of the trim that we've got down there. Any sharp edges, such as across that claw weapon we've got at the top, we can just drag our brush as well and get a nice crisp highlight in. Now, we're going to be painting hazard stripes next, so don't worry if you're a little bit too messy with this, because we'll be able to correct it, and I'll show you how to do that going forward. So for the hazard stripes, I'm using a Bad and Black. Now, if you watch a lot of my videos, you'll know that I tend to prefer AK Black. The reason I'm using a Bad and Black here is because the coverage of it's not great, and it makes it easy to fix any mistakes if the coverage isn't great. Whereas if I'd used something like AK Black, which has got amazing coverage, to fix mistakes would have taken me quite a lot of effort, which I don't really want to make at this point. So in terms of how we do the hazard stripes, we're essentially painting some chunky lines. Now, if I was doing this on a vehicle, then I might use some masking tape to get some really nice accurate lines, but haven't got that luxury on Kravek Morne. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a line. I'm going to just take a little bit of paint on my brush, make sure it's thinned down so it does flow nicely. Good tip. I'm going to paint a black line in. Once I've painted that black diagonal line in on the greave, that now is basically my jumping off point. So I'm going to make sure that the next line I put in is the same thickness as that line, and it's the same angle as that line. And I'm going to work from that across. Now, take your time doing this. As you can see, as I pop mine on, I'm not going all the way to the end, because that means I'm going to get black paint everywhere. So once you've kind of gone as far as you can, you just flip the model around and paint the bottom part in. I'm doing exactly the same thing across the shoulder pad and across that weapon. I'm doing my best to keep them as straight as possible and as accurate as possible. Don't worry if they're not 100% right, because I'll show you how you can do a little trick that just fools the eye a little for when they're on the tabletop. In terms of black, I'm also going to paint a lot of other things across the model. So I've got the casing on the stone bolter. I've got a lot of wires and pipes. I've also got the grip on that thunder hammer as well, which I'm going to paint, and the casing on that flamer weapon too. To highlight all of the black, including the hazard stripes, firstly, I'm going to take some Eshin Grey and I'm going to paint some nice thin lines. Now, if you do put on too thickly, it's absolutely fine. Just go back in with some Abaddon Black. It's really easy to fix. Don't worry about it too much. When it comes to more of the harder surfaces, such as the stone bolter casing, the weapon case, the flamer casing, you can just drag your brush across to get some nice crisp highlights with that Eshin Grey. Again, if it goes on too thick, just take some Abaddon Black to fix it. The last highlight on all of the black is going to be with Dawnstone. And again, this is nice, easy and straightforward. So we want to paint a nice thin line inside the Eshin Grey from the previous stage when it comes to things like the hazard stripes. And again, when it comes to the weapon casing, we can just drag our brush. Just make sure you haven't got too much paint on it. It's thinned a little so it flows nicely. And you drag it across the edges. And that way you get that nice crisp highlight. Now, in order to fix any issues or mistakes you made on some of the hazard stripes, it's really easy to go in, just take some Avalanche Sunset, and you can just draw some nicks and some dots and some scratches across the black hazard stripes, particularly if you've got a little bit of a wobbly section. You can just stipple some dots across it, and this just starts to make it look a little bit worn, a little bit like battle damage. You can take it one step further and add some rust in there as well if you want. I'm not going to do it for this video, but this is a nice, easy way of tricking the eye and fixing any wobbly lines. Now, I'm not 100% sure on what colour all the wires are, but they look orange. So what I've done is I've based them all with Mornfang Brown. I did that when I had the Mornfang Brown out earlier, so I should have said then, my apologies. I'm then going to take some Troll Slayer Orange, and I'm going to take like 2 or 3 layers of Troll Slayer Orange to build up the vibrancy, and I'm just going to drag my brush across those wires to get a nice bright orange, which really does stand out across the model. I'm then going to highlight them with a little bit of Lugganath orange. And again, I'm just a little bit on my brush and I'm dragging my brush across those wires. So I'm only picking up the most raised parts. And this gives me a really nice, easy way to highlight. The last thing to do is the face. So the first thing I'm going to do is base this using Warp Fiend Grey. Now, this covers quite well actually, but I did just take my time and add 2 layers on there just to make sure I preserved all of the detail. I then took some Slaanesh Grey and highlighted up all of the face, leaving that Warp Fiend Grey in the recesses. Now, if you want something that's a little more stark in terms of the contrast, you could potentially wash this with some purple, but I didn't feel the need to do it at this point. I then finalised the highlights with a 50-50 mix of Slaanesh Grey and White Scar. You can use whatever white paint you want. And I used this very, very sparingly before I went in and just finished up doing the eye off camera. I've got a few bits I need to tidy up, such as the silver sockets and where those wires actually connect to the head, and some mistakes to fix. But generally, I'm now done. I can base it, and we're ready for the tabletop. So there we have it. Kravek Morne is done and he is ready for the tabletop. A nice, easy and straightforward video, this one. I really hope you enjoyed it. You can, of course, use all of the techniques on this on any other Iron Warrior models that you may have for your army. So check out my other Chaos Army painting guides here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.